Okay, hello everybody. I'm Shannon Soper. I'm about to share my screen to start this presentation. Okay. Okay, I think it's working. All right, so my name is Shannon Soper again. I'm a product designer at Gatsby. Really happy to be able to present at ENCRYPT 2020. This is my Twitter handle. Feel free to follow me. I post about things dealing with product design, which is also often known as UX design, hence my Twitter name. Here's a little bit about me. I'm okay, I already said I'm a product designer working at Gatsby. I'm not a pro developer, even though I do design tools for developers. So I have built a few websites myself so that I can more deeply empathize with developers. And one of those websites is about my dog. His name is Watson. So you can go to this website later and see cute pictures of him. I live in the Bay Area near San Francisco, California, with my husband and our dog. I love reading. I love comedy. I like watching stand-up comedians and SNL. I love music, hiking, and cooking. Okay, so I want to talk about what Gatsby is in case you haven't heard of it before. Gatsby is a free and open source framework based on React that helps developers build blazing fast websites and apps. This is a screenshot from the homepage of gatsbyjs.org. You can go there at any time and get started for free. It's a really fun company to work for and a super fun tool to use if you're interested in learning React or you already know React. All right, the topic I'm speaking about today is the ethics of product design. And if I were an audience member for this talk, the two questions I thought I might have are, what are ethics and what is product design? So what is this talk even about? Let's dive into that. What are ethics? Basically, ethics are choosing what you think is right and wrong. What is product design? That's basically what you do when you identify a problem and you design a solution to that problem. And usually products that have been designed are a solution that many people can use, not just one person. So let's look at some examples. A cell phone is a product that has been designed to solve problems for people. So many people can use cell phones to solve similar problems. So how do I talk to somebody who's far away from me? That's a problem, and the cell phone solves it for me. There are many ethical decisions that go into cell phone design. Here's an image of facial recognition software, and there are some interesting articles you can read about how facial recognition software still isn't as good as it could be at recognizing people of different skin tones. And there's a lot of improvement that needs to be made in order for it to be effective and truly ethical. So let's move on to some more examples. So do I make ethical decisions as a product designer at Gatsby? Yes, I do. I'm going to share an example with you from my real job. The product I'm talking about is something called the Site Showcase. You can view it on gatsbyjs.org/showcase. And here's a screenshot of it. If you haven't seen it before, hopefully looking at it makes it obvious what it is. I will explain it anyway, which this is actually not a very good practice as a product designer. Things should be obvious without me even needing to explain them. But I want to make sure this is accessible to people who maybe are just listening to the audio or reading a transcript. The Site Showcase is a collection of websites that were built with Gatsby. So each of these websites in the Site Showcase, the developers who built them used Gatsby to build them. And if you see a little GitHub icon next to a website, that means when you click on that icon, you can view the source code for the website and see how they built it. I think there's about 900 websites in the site showcase now. So what ethical decisions did I have to make in designing this product? There are 4 main questions, and I'm going to go into each of them one at a time. Are we solving problems that really matter to people? Does this solution really solve the problem? Does this solution reach the people who need it? And can the solution be used in a way that was unintended? Do I want to support that unintended use? These questions hopefully will make more sense as I go into each one. Okay, so the first question, are we solving problems that really matter to people? Yes. I interviewed dozens of developers who were using Gatsby a couple years ago and asked them about some of their main struggles. And one of their main struggles was people didn't really know, people used the source code of other websites to learn how to build their own websites, and they didn't know where to find source code for other Gatsby sites without just kind of hunting it down on Twitter and Google and trying to find other people, like who else is building a Gatsby site? Which of those sites are ones that I admire and that I could kind of learn from? So people were spending a lot of time doing that. And the reason that's a problem is because if we can solve that for them and help them spend less time on it, that's a problem we should solve. Also, another problem was a lot of people didn't know you could use Gatsby for apps. And they thought maybe you can only use it for static sites. And showing people examples of many apps built with Gatsby, we thought could solve that problem. The second question is, does this solution really solve the problem? For the most part, yes. It's not perfect, but the site showcase does help users see the source code of other ambitious Gatsby projects, and we still are in the process of testing to see how easy it is for people to use the site showcase. The third question that I asked myself was, does this solution reach the people who need it? This is also one that we are doing pretty well, but we're not perfect at. So there's a few reasons why the site showcase might not reach the people who need it. The first reason is maybe people don't even know about it. They don't know it exists. We have Google Analytics that show that we have pretty good traffic to the site showcase, but I'm sure it could be better with more marketing and more studying about how do people find the site showcase? How could we help more people find it? Also, if someone knows about the site showcase, they still might not be able to read it or absorb the information if they have a disability that prevents them from absorbing it in the form that it is. So some people on the learning team at Gatsby ran some usability tests last summer with programmers who have vision impairments and or motor impairments, and learned what is Gatsby doing really well for these users and what can we improve. So there's some things we're doing well and there's some things we need to improve, and there's actually some blog posts about that where you can read about the improvements that we're planning. We really prioritize accessibility and including everyone who wants to build something with Gatsby or could benefit from it. And the good news is that there are already a lot of things that help you build an accessible website with Gatsby. So if you're interested in accessibility and providing things that you build to a wide audience and making sure you're including everybody, you can go to our documentation on making your site accessible, and that's a really good head start. It's not the end of the road, but it will give you a super good foundation to start from. Okay. Also, I just wanted to bring up that I've seen on Twitter a lot of Nigerians who are doing an amazing job at making technology available to people who need it. I wanted to see, hopefully this is still sharing my screen. Okay, awesome. This developer said they used machine learning to develop an Android app that helps people with visual impairment count money. And this is really important because not only is it more convenient for someone to think like, oh, how much money do I have, without them having to ask a family member or a neighbor to count it for them. But if there's somebody who has maybe neighbors who aren't being honest with them, the neighbors could lie about how much money they have. So this is very, from an ethical standpoint, this is a very good thing for people to know how much money they have. Yeah, pretty awesome. I'm sure maybe many of you have seen this already. So because of that, maybe I'm already sharing something that you already know about reaching the people who need technology. And yeah, this developer was a great example to all of us. Okay, the fourth question. Can this solution be used in a way that was unintended? Do I want to support that unintended use? So it's possible with the site showcase, yes, it could be used in an unintended way, sort of. It's possible that people could try to post inappropriate sites in the site showcase, and they probably won't be able to, because we have a process of people have to submit the site and then someone reviews it before they add it to the site showcase. However, if the person doing the reviewing maybe hasn't looked through the site thoroughly or doesn't understand, maybe doesn't know what standards we have, they could accidentally add something that isn't, that has a violation with our code of conduct. So that's not the only reason that we have a code of conduct, but it's one way that we use that. So yeah, if someone trying to add their site violates our code of conduct, the site won't be added. So I actually have a story about this. This is our code of conduct. Basically, this is like a promise we make to the Gatsby community about what behavior is encouraged and what behavior is unacceptable within the entire community. And so we have a list of behaviors that are wonderful and good things that we want people to do, and then examples of things that are unacceptable. And also, if someone does something that's unacceptable, what the Gatsby community, what our responsibility is to make sure that they can't hurt anybody else. So the story is that somebody emailed me a while back. They were really angry about one of the sites that we added to the site showcase, and they said it was unethical to share the site. So it was very difficult for me to know what I should email back in response. So I went to our code of conduct and I looked at this list and I thought, okay, the website that they're complaining about, does it do any of these unacceptable things? Any of these 5 things? And no, it didn't do anything unacceptable. In fact, the person who was emailing me actually just had a different viewpoint or opinion than the website represented. So I emailed them back and said, you know, we appreciate that you have your own unique viewpoint and experiences. And also, as a Gatsby community, we support being respectful of different viewpoints and experiences. So we're going to leave the website up, even if it's a different viewpoint than the one you have. That was a pretty difficult conversation. The person still wasn't happy. So it's not always easy to make ethical decisions. Yeah, I wanted to share that because this is something that, you know, it might happen in your real jobs. And it's good to be aware that people will try to use the products you build to bully others, cheat them out of money, or be a predator. There's always going to be somebody who's trying to misuse a product. So it's very important to think of ways to prevent those behaviors and also design a way to stop the behavior once it starts. Okay, just a few final thoughts and then I'll wrap up. So what if you've thought through these questions super carefully, you've done all your research, you've tested your designs, you've built something, and you've thought through how to make something really good that solves people's problems. What if you design it really well, but you still build the wrong thing? I just really love this tweet. These stairs, I don't know how they ended up being built this way, but this happens in real life. There's sometimes the best plans can still go wrong, and that's okay. The only thing you can do is learn from it and try to figure out how to communicate your ideas and your designs better in the future so that the right thing gets built. Okay, here's one other question you might have. What if I design it really well, but users still can't use it? This is a video that I love. Hopefully you can see this. If you can't, it's two guys trying to drink water from a water dispenser. And it just goes to show that people can always find a creative way of using your product that you never thought of before. Okay. So my final thought to leave you with is the answer to all these problems is just keep asking people to try using what you build. So even with the most research and the best intentions, and even when you care so much about your users, it's still possible that the design is missing things or has parts of it that can be improved that you just won't know about until you watch people using it. It's important to listen to what they say and believe them. And it's also important to hold yourself back and don't try to teach them how to use the product or help them learn how to do it. Because in the end, if a lot of people use your product, you won't be there to help each of them when they want to use it. So the product needs to be easy to use even when you're not there. I really have loved preparing this material for you all. I wish I could be there in person to meet everybody. Feel free to ask me any questions that you want on Twitter here. The time zone from San Francisco to Nigeria, there's a few hours difference, so it's possible that it will take me a few hours to answer you, but I will be keeping my eyes open to answer any questions that you have. Thank you again so much. Thank you to all the organizers who have worked so hard to organize this, and I hope you all have an awesome rest of the conference.